There was a time when PlayStation single-player games going day and date would have been crazy to assume that this would ever be a thing. There was a time where Herman Hulst and co. came out and repeatedly said live service games would go day and date, but single-player games will always be at a delayed rate. Now, we know that this has been a whole bunch of lies because at the end of the day, we've seen day and date games coming. People can factor those in as a remaster, remake, or new releases for that fact, like Siren, which is going to be day and date. But they can, the goalposts keep moving. But the reality is, these are games being done and they are being released day and date on PC. But now we've seen games going over to Nintendo Switch, day and date. And of course, Sony has the power to veto. As much as the ponies want to deny this, Sony always has the power to veto. Sony actually is the developer and publisher of MLB. If they turn around to MLB and say, look, we're not going to release this on Xbox, we're not having it, and at the end of the day, it's either us or them, MLB has that choice, and Sony has the right to walk away. But you know what? They chose to release it on Xbox anyway. It is a fully licensed game, and they were happy to do it. Again, you always have a choice, and their choice was to publish and release a game on Xbox, just like it was their choice to publish and release a game on the Nintendo Switch. So there is no way to sugarcoat this. I know they're going to try and they're going to come up with all excuses. Oh, it's a Lego game. It has to go on multiple formats. So did that Lego game that released on the Wii U that was exclusive for what, maybe 2 years, go day and date to PlayStation and Xbox back then? It didn't, did it? No. So clearly exclusives can be done when it comes to Lego games. But do you know what? They're going to go post move anyway, so I'm not even going to get into it. But let's have the drop because it's quite interesting what's actually being said here. Alright, so as you can see from the script, it says, I was surprised to learn that LEGO Horizon was released not only on PS5 and PC, but also on Nintendo Switch. So already, now that games are going PC, they're multi-platform anyway. That's just a no-brainer now, right? Anyone releasing games on PC as well is multi-platform. Just like Xbox is, so is PlayStation 5. The only one that isn't multi-platform is Nintendo Switch. They are true exclusive. They know how to do it. Depending on the target of the game, is it possible that it will be released simultaneously on platforms such as Nintendo Switch in the future? Meaning, they're clearly saying other platforms like Xbox. And Herman Hulst says, live service titles are released on multiple platforms because it's important for multiple players to be able to enjoy the game together. I genuinely feel that live service games in all their entirety should be released on every platform to encourage more people to play it. That's just me. This is for all games. I get some trademark games like God of War multiplayer maybe, because, or, Uncharted, the kind of landmark ones, but other titles, I think they should just go multiplayer. So I think that's the right choice. For other titles, we consider and decide on a policy based on whether it's the best sales format for the player or company. So essentially what he's saying there is we've gone now from we're not releasing games on PC or other formats to we're releasing games on PC, but for single player games, it's going to be with a 2-year cadence. And then it's gone to we're going to release multi-platform games, live service games, day and date. And then it's gone to we're now going to be doing case by case. I guess Herman is now the new Matt Booty with the case by case, because this seems a little weird how, they transition from PlayStation is the only place you can play PlayStation games and you cannot play anywhere else. And then it went to, well, live service games can be played everywhere, PC and PlayStation, because it makes sense. That's a big change from what their original position was. And then they said, but when it comes to and then they said, single player games are off limits And then it went to single player games. We'll have like a 2-year cadence where people that want to play them, gamers, will come to PlayStation first. And then that 2 years went down to 1.5 years. And with Spider-Man now, we've seen it drop down to 1 year. So that cadence is dropping down as well. We've also seen that cadence thrown out the window, like I said at the intro, with other games that are remasters, remakes, even new games coming day and date to PC, like Silent Hill 2. Now that's pretty much a new game at this point. It was completely done from ground up. It wasn't remastered. It's pretty much a brand new game. Day and date, exclusive. I know that's not a Sony product and that is a third-party contract, but they couldn't actually stop it going to PC. But then you've got other games like Siren, which are said now to be day and date on PC. It's a complete reboot. So it's a new game. Siren was released originally on the PS3. It is now going to PS5, and it is going to be a reboot, and that's supposed to be day and date as well on PC. So as you can see here, the case by case and the drawing to day and date is getting very, very blurred. And that 1 year cadence, which they are applying to some of their bigger titles, is only going to get smaller. I predict by the end of 2026, you're going to see that this is pretty much going to be day and date with PC. It's going to happen because you can see the transition going forward. I know they're going to be in denial, and I know they're going to be saying all sorts of stuff to try and say that's not going to happen. They are not Xbox. They are not this. But you know what? None of these companies actually care about your feelings, because they don't care about your feelings. What they care about is money. And Sony likes money because they're a corporation, right? They're not a limited corporation. They're a public limited corporation. So shareholders that have now seen the light of what money can actually bring in when you go multi-platform, they're like, oh yeah, this is good. You open Pandora's box, you can't close it. I said this back in 2016, 2017, and I've said this throughout the years. Once you open Pandora's box like Microsoft did, there's no going back. And with those 4 games that went, I said, once you open Pandora's box, there's no going back. I was right. And Sony has opened Pandora's box. They are taking a very reserved approach to it, but Pandora's box is open. And as the saying goes, once it's open, it ain't closing. There's a reason why you don't open Pandora's box. But basically what Herman Hulst is saying here now is the same tagline that Matt Booty is saying. Games will be going on a case-by-case basis on what makes sense and what doesn't. But eventually, just like the ponies say the whole slate is going, eventually for PlayStation, the whole slate will be going as well. It's just taking a longer time to... Sony's taking a longer time to get there. And you know what? Sony's always reserved in their moves and probably right for it. I mean, even right now, you can actually play PlayStation 5 games without a console. Yes, it's not publicized everywhere, but if you go pay $200 for a PlayStation Portal, you can play PS5 games right now, no need for a console. And they are adding more and more games to that list of playable games all the time. And it won't be long before all the games will be playable on their day one through the cloud. But at the end of the day, it's the same position as Xbox is in. They're going through the same transition. It's just a slower phase. It's a more controlled approach. Microsoft decided to go blunt force. They got ABK. They accelerated their plans by 10 years. They just said, screw it, gung-ho, let's do this. Let's do it live. Sony's taking the more reserved approach. But everything that you can see Sony doing is going the same path as Microsoft. And with Herman Hulst here saying now, from games will never go to PC, single-player games will never go to PC or anywhere else, to it's going to take a 2-year approach, to, well, now it's a case-by-case basis, as we've seen throughout 2024 anyway, with so many games going day and date. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, folks. It's only a matter of time. But, you know what? It's not a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing. And those that enjoy the console experience will always have that console experience. But if you're on PC, I guess you're going to have the Avengers Gauntlet, I guess. You're going to have everything. But anyway, except for Nintendo. I suspect Nintendo will probably dive into the fray 2028. That's my prediction. Let's see how... I mean, if I'm still content creating by that point, let's see how true that actually is. Alright, folks, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.